Hi, I'm Wayne Madsen, and you're listening to the Falcon's Nest podcast.
I'm Lewis Rees, and you're listening to Falcon's Nest podcast.
I'm Anuj Dal, and you're listening to the Falcon's Nest podcast.
Welcome back to the Falcon's Nest podcast. I'm joined by a man who's probably got the brightest shoes in the county, Chris Highton, head of second team and analytics. Thanks for joining me, Chris. How are you?
Very good, Henry. Thank you for having me.
You've got a very exciting trip coming up with England Disability men's squad heading out to India. Obviously been involved in the past, but how much are you looking forward to going out to India soon?
Yeah, always love going to India. Been lucky to get out there a few times now, and obviously a cricket mad country, and always very welcoming. Whoever you go across with, so I've been lucky enough to go across with our visually impaired squad before, but this will be the first time taking a mixed disability squad out there, which is a relatively new concept. The first series was last summer, where England were lucky enough to, or not lucky enough, but good enough to beat India over here in a 5-match series. So we're going over again in a couple of days' time, and yeah, they'll be looking to try and get one over us again. I think they don't tend to like to lose, so I think it'll be a really exciting but a really difficult challenge as well. So, but definitely one that I know the players and the staff are really looking forward to.
You look at across the board, the Disability Premier League in the UK has really exploded over the last few years, but it does feel slightly behind compared to the England men's, England women's team, but it is growing across the world. And you kind of look at England, South Africa, India are kind of the ones, and Australia, the ones who are really bringing and driving kind of that diversity and inclusion across all cricket, which is really good to see. Yeah,
it's an interesting disability cricket's very interesting in how it's organised. So I've been involved, as you say, for over 10 years now, and it's not governed by ICC. So the England side of things, we are heavily funded by ECB and looked after really, really well. Players have now started getting a tour fee for going away, which is really good. They get excellent coaching, access to Loughborough, access to kit, things like that. So ECB are really, really good with us. But as it doesn't fall under ICC, it can get a little bit fragmented in how things are organised. So, for instance, when I was physical disability head coach, we only tended to go to the subcontinent because it was India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. It was those countries that were playing physical disability cricket. Learning disability cricket was getting played in Australia and South Africa, but they didn't have any physical disability cricket. Deaf cricket was played in more countries, but again, as it wasn't ICC funded, it was the Deaf International Cricket Committee putting on a tournament with sometimes at potentially short notice. So that again makes it a little bit difficult when you're trying to get players who have got jobs and things out of work and time off work to attend these tournaments. So I think the hope is that by moving into the mixed disability sphere, that will allow more countries to come on board. At the moment, it's just England and India, and the series in the summer was a bit of a pilot series. But from all the noises that I'm hearing, it was very, very well received. Certainly, that then falls in line with Disability Premier League, as you mentioned there, which all three impairment groups of physical disability, learning disability and deaf all play together and are drafted, and it's a really, really good competition and a really, really strong competition, and it's created a lot of competition for places. So it all sort of falls into place now, and we're hoping that the game does continue to grow and it allows other countries to get on board. And I think in the long run, hopefully ICC get on board and these tournaments and World Cups could come off and future tours. So we kind of know where disability cricket are going to be in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time, rather than just there's a tournament in 6 months' time and trying to plan for that in the short term.
Yeah, like you said, the guys that are going away, they've got lives outside. It's not like Derbyshire or any other counties where the players are full-time professionals. They've got lives outside of this. The organisation kind of does feel somewhat last minute. We had a series here, Derbyshire, a couple of years ago, and it was fairly late that it all got finalised. And obviously it must be a nightmare for yourselves, the coaches, who've got to pick a side, but also the players might want to play, but they've got already kind of committed to other things.
Yeah, definitely. And what I would say is that it allows opportunity for other people. Somebody's misfortune or somebody not being able to get off work does allow an opportunity for somebody else. So, for instance, Will Flynn, who played in the summer, he's not coming to India with us because he's just had the best part of a month off work to go and watch the England men's side out in Australia. So his employer wasn't too keen to give him another 2.5 weeks off. I think most of the guys are pretty lucky. They get really good support from work and from family, but yeah, it can be difficult to get that time off and things when stuff is a little bit short notice. So I think, yeah, ultimately they just want a bit of security and want to know and forward plan. So yeah, it's not easy, but like we say, it creates opportunity for other people.
I just want to talk about your route into the England side. How did that kind of start, and obviously now progressed into a really senior position in that, but how did it all start out? And also, it's probably a long one, but all that work also alongside all the stuff that you've got with Derbyshire going on this off-season as well.
Yeah, so I started winter 2014, and moving into 2015, and I just got asked to go and help out really at a session. So Kazim Ali, who was head coach at the time, he'd just taken over the head coach role, and I used to work with Kaz up in Lancashire, and he just said, "Will you come down and help us out for a weekend?" So I went down to Shrewsbury School to help out for a weekend, and then really enjoyed my time with the physical disability squad. It was at the time, and just wanted to keep involved. I then eventually, September of 2015, I actually went out as a performance analyst with the group. We went to Bangladesh for a World Series, so that's where I'd started to get into my performance analysis role, and then ended up taking on that role a bit more really. So once the physical disability side had a bit of performance analysis, then the visually impaired squad were going to a World Cup and wanted some analysis, and the deaf squad were going out to a trip to Dubai and wanted some analysis. So I just kept luckily getting some really nice trips and some good opportunities. And then 2018, I actually went full time with ECB as performance analysis lead over the disability programme. So I continued to do that until COVID hit in 2020, and unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but also fortunately, I got made redundant, which led to me eventually coming to Derbyshire in 2021. So every cloud has a silver lining. I wouldn't be here in the position I am now if I hadn't have been made redundant in 2020. But I've always kept an interest within my disability cricket. I've met some really good people through it, and followed the careers of quite a lot of those players. So some of the players that are going out on this trip in January and February this year, I've known 10, 15 years. Actually, Captain Callum Flynn, I've known him since he was probably about 8 or 9 years old. I used to play cricket against his dad, and he used to chirp me from the scorebox. So it's quite interesting being on the other side now, trying to coach him and
trying to calm him down.
Yeah. So yeah, and somebody like Callum, that's a journey. So I think Callum's story is pretty well known to those who know disability cricket. But on I think it was his 15th birthday, he got diagnosed with bone cancer. So he has a titanium knee replacement, a titanium femur, and he thought his cricketing journey was over. But what it has allowed him to do is disability cricket's allowed him to continue playing cricket, and now he's captain in his country. So, and he's fully well again and everything. So, stories like that. Every player within the squad has a story, and some of those stories are really inspiring and make you appreciate things a little bit more. And ultimately, they're just really, really great human beings as well. So I enjoy spending time with them, and I enjoy hopefully trying to make them a little bit better at cricket.
It feels like unprecedented times with all this 100 money that has come in, and obviously a lot of that will feed into the English system and the Disability Premier League and all the facets that come with that. It's probably a tricky question, but what would you love the future and that investment to look like and shape, say, the next 5 years of disability cricket in the UK? What would be the ideal thing, do you think, that could happen?
Yeah, I think we always look at it that it's a little bit like the women's game probably was 10, 15 years ago, and how they started off. And I'm not suggesting that it'll grow to a fully professional system. I think in an ideal world that would be unbelievable. But I think, like we touched on earlier, it's hopefully getting somebody like ICC on board so that you're getting more countries involved. Because as much as ECB can pump money into disability cricket here, we also have to have opposition to play against. So I think it's trying to grow the game globally. And it looks like mixed disability is potentially the way that we can grow the game globally. Like I say, India are on board with it. I think we're hoping that a few other countries will come on board, and that it'll be easy is potentially the wrong word, but instead of trying to find a squad of 20 physical disability players, 20 learning disability players, 20 deaf players, it's now being able to, can you find a mixture of those players that can fulfil a squad and play mixed disability cricket and all the opportunities that brings. So the cohesion between the squad, we've got a really, really good group where with players that might not have played against each other before, and now you get in, you sit around the dinner table at an evening after a training session, and you've got physical disability players sitting with the deaf players and learning sign language, and you've got the LD lads sitting with the deaf lads, and everyone's just so intermingled and so together. And I think that's a big thing that came out of the series in the summer, is that the togetherness of the group was absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, I think it's just created an opportunity for a collective to get together with one focus, which is cricket.
I'm Ross Whiteley, and you're listening to the Falcons Nest podcast. The Falcons are back this summer, and you can secure tickets at derbyshirecccc.com.
Moving on to the Derbyshire stuff. Obviously, a heavy involvement in the second team in the summer, but you've been a permanent fixture while we've had coaches here, there, and everywhere during the off season. What's kind of pre-season looked like for you? And it's all that data that then comes with it, and hopefully trying to get the guys in the best frame of mind to kind of work out who they might be bowling to and get those plans ready now rather than closer to the season.
Yeah, I guess analytics can be viewed two ways. So a lot of people, it's looking at what the opposition do and how are we prepping up for say Worcester, the first game of the season. How are we going to tell our ball or discuss with our bowlers how to bowl at their batters, and what are their bowlers going to try and do to our batters? So there's a little bit of that. But there's also a lot about focusing on us and us as individuals and us as a team. So I think what we've tried to do this year or this winter is have a bit of purpose around our training. So we've tried to go, since we've been back in November, is we've tried to go 2 sessions a week where the players have their session so they can come and work on whatever they want on that day. And then we have a coach-led session, which we've had today, where we as coaches can dictate what we're going to try and do in that session. So, for instance, today has been a white ball session against spin, and the reason we have done that is because we've identified through our analytics that that's something we want to get better at, or it's something we're already good at, but can we take it to the next level? So we've tried to go a lot of that this winter, we're pretty good at that, but can we take it to the next level? And how do we take it to the next level? And what do the sides that have got promotion or have had success in white ball cricket, what do they do through the data and through the analytics? And how far away from that are we? Are we actually better than some sides in that? And how can we strive to get to that level? So that's how we've tried to use our analytics this winter. And also, you can get a few skeptics in your group, so it's having that data behind it to go, when they turn around to you, why are we doing this today? We've got this reasoning for doing this.
I presume you've also got some players who think they may be better than the analytics and think, well, I've played against so-and-so or batted against so-and-so, and you're nodding your head, for ages, and think, players probably think, I've got that natural instinct to go out there and do it, but there is method behind the madness sometimes, and probably there's players who love loads of data and then some who might just want 3 key takeaways. So I guess tailoring, now we're talking like close to the season, tailoring a package to a player of the data before a game is obviously unique across everyone. Yeah,
everybody's different. And I've been involved in analytics for a long time, as I touched on before. And it's always evolving. And the way you go about delivering that is always evolving. Like you rightly say, some people love it. Some people will sit with you. If you'd allow them, they'd sit with you for an hour and go through every minute detail. Some of the others just want, 1 or 2 things. But ultimately, we're not here to catch people out. That's not the job of the analyst. But it's like you touched on there, and like you said, some players may have a different view to what the data and the analysis says. So they're fun conversations sometimes when you can kind of just sit there and go, no, I'm not sure you're right there. But ultimately, it's there as a tool to help them. It's not a stick to beat them with. That's not what we use it for. It's how can we get them marginal gains, them little 1%ers. How can we get you better by half a run and over here, for instance, for a bowler? How can we allow you to take more wickets? How can we improve your white ball game through the middle overs? How can we improve your power play game? That's what we're trying to do. And how people take that on board. Some people don't take it on board, and that's totally fine as well. It's not for everyone. I don't think analysts are that precious to think that it is for everyone, but it's finding the way that works. And I'm lucky that within the England stuff, I work with different analysts from different counties, and it's interesting to see how we all go about it different ways. And obviously, Alex Hughes does all of the pre-match stuff now and the pre-match packs, and yours does it completely different to how I would do it. But ultimately, we're all after the same result, which is to win games of cricket. And if analysis can help that, then that's why we try and do it.
It feels like a cliche, but it's like almost those 1% and 2%ers that if you factor in across a red ball season, your margin of gain is so big that if your analysis can shave off and reduce someone's bowling average, because you'll know exactly how you might, because it's not always go, right, this batter is susceptible to a short ball, set this field and you're going to get him. It's not obviously going to work like that. But if you can buy wickets, per se, through your analytics, it's that. And then on T20, the game, I think watching a lot across the Ashes, SA20, all the stuff in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, it's all this talk about matchups and commentators kind of going, well, why isn't he bowling? And the analysis is saying he shouldn't be bowling because the batter favours right arm. So how much of the matchup stuff does influence Derbyshire at times, or is it a case of... Because then also captain might just go, no, you've got that feeling on the time, and it's that feel versus what the data says should be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and I don't think analysts are there to dictate the game. What we're here for, or what analysts are here for, is to help that captain out. So, yeah, I think certainly in white ball cricket, we will provide matchup data, but ultimately, I guess the captain out on the field we've provided them that data. If they choose to use it, then great. If they think that their gut tells them to go something else, or the state of the game dictates something else, then you don't take offence with it. I think ultimately it's the 11 on the field have got to have that feel, and have got to make that decision. But we're just trying to give them a little bit of information around them decisions. And ultimately, it's focusing on ourselves a lot as well. I think that's a shift that we can try and make. And yes, we can go. We look for trends, and we're aiming to try and spot a trend with our data and our video analysis and what we watch as well. We watch a lot of footage, but you've also got to think about what's the strengths of your own players. So it's fine coming up with a trend, but if you've not got a bowler whose strength is to perform that skill set, then you might be asking them to do something they're not comfortable with, and ultimately the bowler or batter has to be comfortable with what they're trying to execute while they're out in the middle. It's their game, and they'll get judged by that. But I think what we're here is to just offer that bit of guidance and a bit of help, should players want it.
Now on the second team stuff with Derbyshire, I guess you've kind of got quite a fulfilling job, that you've got all the stuff with the disability side, but also the second team. You've got trialists who may come in and perform really well. You've got academy lads through the age group systems at Derbyshire who are coming in and impressing. Then you've got kind of a first team player who might be dropping down, getting some game time. Fulfilling, but also probably very hard work of getting an 11 that ultimately you want to be as successful in the second team competitions, but also fulfill what Darren Smith wants, make sure it's not a team full of trialists, and then also fulfilling Mickey's wishes of who he might want dropping down and getting the game time. Yeah,
ultimately, great job. Love it to pieces, but can be challenging at times. I'd often joke to the full-time staff that you probably don't want to spend too much time with me in the summer. And ultimately, I do get dictated to by Mickey a little bit in terms of, these bowlers need a game time, or these batters just need a hit and whatever. But it's never a hardship for me having quality dropping down from the first team into the second team. But like I say, ultimately, they don't want to be around me for too much in the summer. We made a conscious shift, certainly last year, to try and move away from the trialist model. We had, when I took over kind of 3 years ago, I think I'll be coming into my fourth season as second team head coach. Through a little bit of necessity, we had a lot of trial players. We've now got a stronger professional staff. We've got more numbers. We've got a really strong academy. Darren does an outstanding job with the academy, and we're producing players that can hold their own in second team cricket. This year, obviously, with the ECB extending that academy limit to 19, that's allowed us to keep the likes of Matty Stewart, Rohan Vallabhani, Joe Hall, Eamon Kareem on for another year. So that again gives us scope to use those academy players in second team cricket. So I think last year we used around 7 or 8 trial players across the whole season, which was a massive reduction from when I first came in. And off the back of them trial players, we actually signed 2 in Rory and Amrit, which, is the really fulfilling part of the job when 2 players that you believe in deliver them performances and ultimately sign professional contracts at the end of it. So, really good role. Obviously, trying to promote a winning culture through the team, because that's ultimately what we want to do is win games of cricket, but also understanding that what's our higher purpose as a second 11 is producing players for the first team, giving opportunities to academy players for them to push their case to sign contracts, whilst going about things the right way, playing the brand of cricket that Mickey wants to with the first team, and ultimately having a little bit of success as well, hopefully.
It's an interesting topic about the second team trialists, because a lot of changes have come in over the past few years that people might not be familiar about. Read a very interesting article by Will Frayne on The Cricketer, probably 12 months, 18 months ago, talking about how obviously he dropped out from playing professional cricket and then was trying to get any gig anywhere on the trialist setup, but because obviously the new restrictions that have come in, I think it was regarding payments and kind of all this medical screening and kind of everything that went with, you couldn't almost just drop in players at the drop of a hat and then take them out, that he wasn't getting gigs anywhere, and he went from a very good cricket career with Nottinghamshire and Yorkshire to nobody wanted a bar of him when he's trying to call people around.
Yeah, it certainly got a little bit harder. So obviously, each trial player now has to be heart screened before they can play second 11 cricket, and they have to undergo their ECB modules as well, with the anti-corruption and anti-doping modules, I think it is. So it has got a little bit tougher to kind of just drag somebody in last minute. So if an opportunity arises and you need a trial player, then you used to be able to just pick up the phone and get them in on a Sunday night to start a game on a Monday. I think it's a good thing that trial players get paid now. It stops them just getting dragged in for games to fulfil fixtures when sides have potentially not got a realistic thought of signing them. So at least they are getting paid and their expenses and things like that. Because ultimately, those who are on trial are probably looking. It's probably their line of work for that year, or they're maybe at work and are giving up a day's work to come or 4 days' work to come and play some 4-day cricket. So I think it's important that they get reimbursed the right way. But it's also about what is the purpose of second team cricket and what is the purpose of them trialists. So, like I touched on earlier there, we saw a opportunity in our professional staff for a bowler, a seam bowler, and an exciting batting all-rounder. So we looked at Rory and Amrit, and that's eventually when they've been signed. So I think sometimes it's about opportunity. What do squads need at that time? And have you got a realistic opportunity to get signed is what I would say. So yeah, if you're at a stage where there's probably no vacancy in your professional staff for 2 years because everyone's signed up on contracts and nobody's coming off staff and you're pretty happy with what you've got, then you're probably less likely to look at them trialists because ultimately you don't want to be messing those trialists around. You don't want to be selling them a dream that's not there. So you have to be fair to the player, and we've got to put the player at the heart of this because ultimately they're trying to forge a career. So I think we've just got to be careful with what we're looking to do with trial players. If somebody comes out and is really exciting and you feel like there's an opportunity, then yes, give them them opportunities. And if for instance your academy setup is on the younger side and you've not got players ready to step into that second 11, then you might have to look at trial players. But I think I definitely made a conscious decision to try and give opportunity to academy players over trial players because we need to see the great work that Darren's doing, see if these players can step up to the next level. And what is Darren's role with the academy if we just go, no, sorry, Jake Green's not playing this week because we've got a trial player in from Yorkshire, or Matty Stewart, who's doing really well out in Australia. When he comes back, we go, oh well, actually, we've invested time and money into these players through the academy. So it's, can we see what they're all about? And I'm pretty sure that fans and members want to see homegrown players given an opportunity to try and push their claim to sign professional contracts.
It does also feel on the flip side of a lot of trial players have got opportunities in the last year with the Metro Bank One Day Cup and the 100. There are spots to be filled, whereas the previous few years it felt like teams were very much closed and these trialists weren't getting a push into. And kind of the great work that Saka's done, I think it's about 13 or 14 who've come through the Saka programme, which they're in today, I believe, this afternoon at the Central Coast County Ground, that a setup and being able to invest time and resources and money in someone long term, that there are loads of players out there who are deserving of contracts, but county squads are small, that you can't just go like a Premier League side and go, we'll just give someone a deal for 2 years and see how they are.
Yeah, 100%. It would. There's 18 first-class counties that carry relatively small playing staff. Is what I would say, and certainly when you align it to football, where there's 96 football league clubs who've all probably got a staff of about 30 players. So, and like say, some of the Premier League clubs have probably got more than that. So, yeah, opportunities to break into squads are difficult, but what I would say is that those who are good enough will generally find a way in. So, yeah, Amrit is a perfect example of somebody who was in an academy and in and around England under 19s as a youngster. For whatever reason, it didn't work out for him at Northants, and then, yeah, he's played some national counties cricket. He's been part of the Saka programme. He's trialled at a few different places, and then ultimately last summer just came to the fore, put in some really impressive performances, and that's how you get your opportunity, because you just stand out. And again, similarly, Rory again was on came through a different academy, went away to national counties cricket, gets his opportunity as a trialist, and takes that chance. And with the 100 and clubs losing players for that month, it does provide opportunities. And yeah, I think both of them initially came in just for the end of the Metro Bank, but getting the opportunity and doing well in that's led to them signing long-term contracts. And yeah, I think that's the ultimate aim, isn't it? You provide somebody with an opportunity, and you hope that they take that opportunity, and then I've got to go and knock on Mickey's door and say, look, I think that this player's worth a go, and ultimately he'll make that decision on them, and the board and the committee and however all that works. So yeah, I think there is good opportunity. Saka do amazing work, and we work quite closely with them. We've actually had some of the bowlers in from Saka some of the spinners in from Saka this morning to help facilitate our white ball session. So yeah, I have a good relationship with Tom Brown, and we chat quite a bit. But it's just about being honest with the player, and if there is an opportunity for you, we'll try and give you that opportunity. And if you come in and do well, yeah, take that opportunity. And I think for anyone who comes in on trial, you've got to be better than what we've already got, and you've got to show that you're better than what we've already got. And some players manage to do that, and Amrit and Rory are the case in point at the moment. And even Harry Kane, going back a few, my first year, so 2021, came in on trial and did well, and he's become a permanent fixture now. So yeah, it does happen.
Just before we wrap up, I want to talk about your love for football. Big Evertonian, big Toffees fan, alongside Darren Smith. It feels like quite a kind of gathering. And I saw you've got your old seat from Goodison, which is pretty cool. I think for any football mad fan, to have your seat from the old ground with so much history at Goodison Park, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, big Evertonian for my sins. Yeah, and Smitty, yeah, I didn't know until I came to the club. Obviously, Smitty was an Evertonian. We're outnumbered by
loads of Arsenal fans.
Yeah, we're outnumbered. Well, we started to be outnumbered by a lot of Reds at first. So H and Mads used to give me a bit of stick, being Liverpool fans, but now there's a bit of an Arsenal takeover now with the gaffer, and Wright is an Arsenal fan. I found out this morning. So so there's a few Arsenal lads knocking around now, but. Yeah, big Evertonian. I've been going on my own since I was about 15. So when my mum and dad thought I was responsible enough to get the train from Wigan to Liverpool on my own, about 14, 15, then I used to go and find a ticket and sit wherever I could at Goodison, and then yeah, about 17, 18 years ago, got my season ticket in the Gladys Street. Originally went with a mate, and then he fell by the wayside and stopped going. And really lucky for probably about the last 10, 12 years, I've gone with my dad. So get to go and watch Everton with my dad. Had a season ticket with him for 10, 12 years. My dad was a good footballer and loves his football, so he got dragged by his brother when he was little, and it kind of got passed on to me, and it's always been Everton, even though I live in Wigan. I do watch Wigan. I have watched Wigan Athletic quite a bit, but yeah, Everton's always been my team, and yeah, it's different. So I've moved my season ticket now to the Hill Dickinson. So it's a bit strange not being sat in the Gladys Street. I'm still behind the goal in the big south stand, but I'm in the upper tier now, not the lower. So it's taken a bit of getting used to. But when originally they were knocking Goodison down, or they were doing something with it before the ladies' team moved in it permanently. So yeah, they offered everyone the chance to buy the seat, and it was something that I couldn't really turn down. And it turned up in the post the other day, and yeah, it's nice. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
To do with it now.
Hopefully, if I ever get a nice back garden, it can go in the back garden. But yeah, really nice piece of memorabilia. Really nice to kind of look at and remember the good times and the bad times. It was probably more bad than good before anyone jumps on. But yeah, like I put on my social media, the irony is I've rarely sat in that seat, because we used to stand up a hell of a lot in the Gladys Street. So yeah, I might actually get to sit in it for a bit. But yeah, lovely piece of memorabilia. It was tough leaving the old ground, but ultimately you got to move with the times, I think, and it's something that Evertonians have been crying out for ages. Is a new ground, and it's really, really impressive, and it's different, like I say, very, very different. But hopefully they can build a side on the field that befits the stadium and have a little bit of success. I've watched them lose in a couple of FA Cup finals and a couple of semi-finals down at Wembley. I was too young to go to Wembley in '95, but yeah, hopefully sometime soon I'll see a bit of success somewhere, whatever success looks like.
Football fans are always gluttons for punishment. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining me. Hopefully you don't miss out on some incredible Everton win while you're over in India. That would be a heartbreaking, but also kind of don't get these opportunities that come very often to go to India. But thank you very much. Have a great time in India and hopefully some success there as well.
Thanks, Emmy. Cheers for having me.